Hi guys. Some people say that medical marijuana is the actual cure for cancer, and at first I didn't really pay too much attention to this, and of course, I went through all the treatments and things like that. But now that I've had the chemo and radiation, believe me, if there was a way that I could go back and not do that, believe me, I would. But I just want to thank all my viewers, and I want to thank the people that actually sent me some things to get started. So I just wanted to kind of show you what's going on here. I'm sure a lot of you know what that is. Yeah, that is my medical marijuana for this year. I planted it back in, January, February, the beginning of March, and you can see that it has progressed to a very, very decent size plant. This actually right here is 2 plants. Okay, let me get over here so you can see everything. There we go. Okay, this is 2 plants. There's one here on this side and then one here on that side. And then of course I have some smaller ones that I planted earlier. Or not earlier, but actually later on in the season. And what we're going to be doing with that is we're going to be making some Rick Simpson Oil. Yep, that's right. We're going to be making some RSO, and with the help of some fellow followers on YouTube, I'm going to be able to get that done. But I just wanted to show you the quality of the bud that is actually happening here. These are very, very good quality. You can see that these have come out really, really nice. And as a matter of fact, this plant here is probably going to be ready by the end of this month. Right now, today being September 12th. And so I just wanted to kind of show you what's going on there. How about that? Thank you. Again, thank you. Hi, guys. You're probably wondering why I'm bouncing around like this. I'm kind of shaking. Well, this is part of my exercise to help my lymph system, clear itself out, because honestly, with all this healing that I'm doing, I'm not getting the kind of exercise that I would normally get riding a bike. So I have what's called a rebounder. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but a rebounder actually it's like a very small trampoline that you can use to jump on, that actually helps your lymph system fluid move around your body like it's supposed to, especially those that have had surgery, women that have had mastectomies, or people that have had surgery that have removed lymph nodes, and people that have had radiation therapy that have burned up lymph nodes, and the fluid really doesn't have anywhere to go, and they end up getting lymphedema. So I'm going to stop this now, but yeah, I have to do that for at least 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. And normally that's what I do, and pretty much that's what it looks like there. It's just a small rebounder. They don't cost that much. They're probably around 40 or 50 bucks for a really good, for a decent one. And that's what I use. Honestly, that's what I use. And it helps with this. I mean, you can see that little wiggle down there, that skin, and this puffiness down here, if you can see that. There's some puffiness here too, and also in my throat. It feels like there's like a ball in my throat, but actually it's the skin that is swollen, and the skin, the tissue, the skin that's in my throat is swollen with the lymphedema fluids, the lymph fluid that has nowhere to drain to. So anyway, want to show you that. How about that, huh? Hey guys, with the complication of lymphedema, there's an important thing that really needs to be done, and that is that typically, because when we sleep at night, we're sleeping down at a flat angle, which actually our lymph fluid basically drains to our head, believe it or not. So a fellow follower on YouTube actually told me that he's been going through the same problems, but somebody else told me that, I need to sleep at a 30 to 45 degree angle. So basically with your bed, I have one of those beds that, it has the up and down feature for the head and for the feet. and then it has one feature to actually raise both of them up. This one here. So basically with that, I can raise my head, at a decent level. I can go to 45. I can even go higher if I wanted to, but it's kind of uncomfortable. But the thing is that you want to sleep at a 30 or 45, either on one side of your face or the other side of your face. I find it hard sleeping, straight back, but some people do sleep that way. But it's important to do that because your fluid will drain and just, it will basically, find its way to your head and then just basically stay in one spot. And for me, in my case, it's, right here, or it's, in this area, or where the tumor used to be. As you can see, that's healed up nicely right there. But, that's neither here or there, because I go to get my PET scan and my CT scan here on the 23rd of September. Today's the 12th, and that's the day that they're going to decide whether or not I'm going to be doing surgery. I'm kind of hoping I'm not going to go down that road, with the RSO oil and the other things that I have that are going to be working for me, and carrot juice. But I just want to kind of throw that out there. So. But the lymph system needs to be managed, and that's a daily thing. You got to do that at least twice a day. The massages, which I'm going to get into pretty soon here. I have a therapy appointment on Wednesday. Today's Monday, so they're going to be showing me how to do the massages. How to work the fluid, in areas out. And how you're supposed to be doing the rubs and the massages and things like that. And then also there's compresses. Of course, you can't use very many compresses on the throat area because you'll freaking choke to death. But that's just one thing. But I just want to kind of throw that out there because I know a lot of you have had questions about that. What happens after a lymph node dies? You know what I mean? Because the lymph system is all one system. And if you damage it, where does the fluid go, right? Right. Well, I had that same question too, and it's been answered. It accumulates in one spot, which is very, very uncomfortable. Makes you feel like you're swollen. You can't talk. You can hardly swallow, and you even feel like you can't breathe that well. So, anyway, just wanted to put that up. And hey guys, hope you liked that intro. That was pretty cool, huh? Hey, welcome back. I just want to let everybody know that I'm doing good. I'm still here and I'm doing good. What I really want to do is I want to continue the complications, and what I want to talk about is something that has affected me since my treatment has stopped, and that is this swelling around this area here and, down where my trach used to be. And what the doctors are calling that is they're calling that lymphedema. That has actually created a problem for me because it actually scared the crap out of me. I mean, I was scared shitless. And the reason why is because the swelling got to the point where, it interfered with my breathing at night, when I was sleeping. So, when it interferes with your breathing, of course, the first thing you're going to think of is, oh my God, what do I have? Do I have another tumor in my throat? What's going on? So, I went to the doctor and talked to him, and then they stuck the endoscope down my nose, to look at my throat. And they saw that the skin tissue around my throat was swollen, and basically it affects virtually everything in that area, in your throat area, your larynx, so it affects your speech. You can tell my speech is a little funny. It's because I have swollen tissue in my throat and in my mouth. The other thing is I have it, under here, and I also have it around here and, down in this area here. So whatever's on the outside could actually, be replicated on the inside. And, it's scary. It's a scary thing. And I've talked to one other person here on YouTube, and you can look on my video right before this one where we kind of talk about it. And there's a person that commented that actually has gone through the same kind of therapy that I've gone through, or treatment that I've gone through, and he has come down with the same, condition, and he said, it goes on for years, and we just end up getting used to it. Well, it scared me very, very much, so I had to go to the doctor to figure out what it was, and the doctor told me that I'm not going to die, and it's part of the healing process, but it is a long healing process, and because the lymph fluid really has nowhere to go, so, there's other things that you can do to help alleviate that.
which one of them is the rebounder, which I think I showed you on the intro, and the massage therapy that goes along with that. Now, I don't know how to do the massage therapy yet because I haven't gone to the class or the therapy session. I have tried some techniques that I found on YouTube, and they have worked. Believe me, they've worked within minutes. They've worked, which was, man, awesome, because I didn't know what was going to happen. But that's one thing, that if you're suffering from the same thing where you've had either surgery or you've had radiation treatment to a lymph node anywhere in your body, it doesn't matter. Women actually go through this, with a mastectomy, where they pull out part of the breast tissue. They pull out a lot of lymph nodes, and they end up with swelling, lymphedema up in their sides of their bodies and their arms. So that can create a problem for those people. But people that have head and neck, it's kind of dangerous, because the swelling can end up going in places where it shouldn't be, and so it could create problems with breathing and just general motion of the neck, where you can't move your neck because it's so swollen, and it's really tough. It's tight kind of swelling. It's not the kind of swelling you would get like on your on your ankle if you sprain an ankle. It's really kind of different. It almost feels like muscle when it's at its highest point, and then when it starts to alleviate, it gets where you can kind of shake it around a little bit. It gets loose. And that happens from jumping on the rebounder or massaging it and things like that, because it kind of loosens it up. You can also use like a vibrator to loosen it up too. You just want to loosen up that fluid and then kind of do the massages to get it moving around. But I'll talk a little bit more about that in a later video. But what I want to talk about is the swelling complication, because it in some cases it can be painful too. And that's something that I touched on pain and pain management, I believe, in one of my earlier videos, but I want to talk a little bit about that, because that is a big complication. And the reason why is it's not so much a complication when you're on the pain medication, because you're taking it as prescribed. Hopefully, you are taking pain medication as prescribed, because some people aren't. They're not taking it as prescribed. They're taking more than they need, and what happens is they end up building a tolerance to it, which actually turns into an addiction, where they can't get off of it easily. Let me back up a little bit. You can't get off of any pain medication easily. I just want to tell you that right off the bat. And doctors, if you're working with your doctor, they have ways to get you off the medication. They have ways where they taper you off or wean you off of the medication, and I believe it goes over like a 3-month period. For me, I couldn't wait for that. I had to just cold turkey get off of it, because I don't like pain medication. It was a big problem for me, but now I'm learning that I should have never got off of it, and because I had a lot of pain, in this area, because of the restructuring of the nerve ends, and man, that is freaking painful. I mean, the kind of pain that I wouldn't wish on anybody. So currently right now I'm on the lowest dose of pain medication that they can give me, that is actually not over-the-counter pain medication. But, I know that when I did get off, when I cold turkey and got off the first time, it was not as difficult as it could have been, but it was painful, and it was discomforting, because it almost feels like you have like the worst frickin' flu ever. And that's one thing that I want to talk about, is your pain medication. So if you're going through pain management with your doctor, you want to make sure that you are taking that as prescribed. You don't want to be taking more than you need, because what ends up happening is that as you increase your dosage, you end up needing that dosage. So if you're only supposed to be taking 1 pill a day and you're taking 2, you end up taking 2 because you have to take 2. And if you try to go back down to 1, it ends up being uncomfortable for you. So those are things you need to kind of focus on, especially when you're going through this. Now, a lot of us will try to justify that, saying that, I have cancer, so I have pain, so I need to be on this medication. Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of people that are on cancer do have specific pain that they need to manage that pain with a pain management system. And I agree 100% that you need to be on that, but you need to be on whatever the doctor is prescribing for you, and no more and no less. For some of us that actually can deal with the pain, not deal with the pain or the discomfort, but are in such a situation where the pain is so much that regular over-the-counter pain medication doesn't work, then yes, you're going to be on pain management. But again, you want to be within the parameters of whatever the doctor set up for you. So it's important for you to stay on that schedule, because once you deviate from that and you go to something else, then you end up creating another problem, which you didn't need, to begin with. And that's, needing more pain medication for a problem that doesn't require that much. And believe me, the doctors are not stupid. They know what's going on. And it's important for you to know that. They know what's happening. And any type of pain medication you're taking anyway kind of makes you feel like like an addict or something. Well, don't feel that way. But what I did notice is when you go to the pharmacy to pick up your pain medication, they always look at people with pain medication like they're addicts, or maybe that's just my perception, but it's kind of a funny scenario, so to speak. But it's important that you are within the correct dosages, and that you're taking your pain medication as prescribed. You do not want to deviate from that again, because it could create other problems. And an addiction to any kind of pain medication is not fun. As a matter of fact, it can be life-threatening. It can be a very huge issue on you. It can be a very huge issue on your family. So it's important that you definitely take time to manage that. And if you're having problems managing that, or if you're having problems and you want to get off, or you need to work very closely with your doctor about that, because they can wean you off of that medication once you tell them that you're having a problem. If you tell them the truth, tell them that you are taking more than you are prescribed. And what they will do is they will start right where you are in terms of what you're taking now, and they will work a program for you to wean off of this medication over 2 to 3 months, and it won't be hard on you, as hard as it would be to do it cold turkey. In other words, to just stop taking it altogether, which I do not advise. I do not advise you to stop taking pain medication without your doctor's consent. And the reason is because it can create so many problems for you. Believe me, not just being sick from the withdrawals, but some people can die from it. So you don't want to go down that road. So what's happening? I'm going to jump from there and let you know what's going on with me. So I've been doing pretty good. I've been treating myself at home in terms of the types of food I eat. I went on this crazy bend of eating cereal every day. For a while, which I know is not good. I know, guys. But I can't taste anything. And believe it or not, cereal, although it does have some sugar on it, it tastes salty. So it's the only thing I could actually taste, the salt in the cereal. And it's kind of weird because it doesn't say it has salt, but if you look up sodium, of course I believe that is salt, that's what that is. And you'll notice that most cereals have a lot of sodium in it. So I got on that bend that I got off of finally, and somebody asked me about, am I still juicing? And yes, I am doing my juicing, and I don't do it as often as I should, like every day, but I do juice probably once or twice a week, which is important because you still need to get those antioxidants in your body, and so they can fight the cancer, and also the other supplements that I normally take to help with fighting cancer, those, and just basically letting this thing heal, getting the rest that I need, not doing too much physical activity, because too much physical activity can actually be dangerous for this area because it's so tender right now, and seeing my doctors and making my appointments and doing those type of things. So far everything's been going great except for the swelling that's going on right now. It got to the point where the swelling kind of made me feel like, should I have ever had that trach taken out? It's almost like I feel like they should put it back in, but the doctors don't want to go there yet, because they're thinking about surgery, which is my next point. But other than that, I'm doing really well. So moving on, the PET scan, my PET scan and CT scan are coming up on the 23rd of September. Today is the 12th. So I got a few days before that happens. But what they're all leaning towards is they're all leaning towards surgery. They feel that it's important to get the mass removed, whatever's left, to get it removed. Because I don't know if you guys ever remember, but if you go back on my videos and you look at some of my earlier videos, you'll see how big that thing was. And I mean, it was pretty big. You'll see in the pictures that show in the videos. But it was pretty big, and then with the radiation got it down to where, you know, it's not really visible. You know, you can see there, you can see where it was. The tumor was right there. It was huge. It was sticking out probably about like that. But it's important that I go to this and get my PET scan and my CT scan and talk about the surgery, because it's just one more thing down the road that may need to happen. And if it does happen, believe me, I'm going to be, you know, needing your prayers, because, you know, that kind of scares me. They're going to go in and do a dissection, which, you know, I can come out looking really funny, you know, like I'm deformed, or I can come out looking, you know, okay, or they went in and they just took out what needed to be taken out, and I'm all right. So I just don't know, you know, and I don't really want to do surgery, and I know a lot of you don't want me to do surgery, but I mean, I want to get well, you know, I want to get better. And if they do the PET scan and the CT scan and they show any kind of cancerous tissue in there, or anything that might lead them to believe that the cancer is not dead, then they're definitely going to want to do surgery. They're not going to want to do more chemo and radiation before they do the surgery, it sounds like. Now, don't hold me to that, because I'm not really sure. I might go in and get that done, and they find something and say, hey, we need to do 15 more, you know, radiation treatments or whatever. So we'll see. We'll play that game when we get down to that point. But I'm kind of hoping that that's not the case. I'm kind of hoping that, you know, in the time that it's been, my body's been healing, and, you know, it's actually getting softer here. It's not as hard as it was. So I'm kind of hoping that that's going to kind of take its own path, and, you know, God's working with this whole thing. So hopefully that's going to heal, and I'm not going to need that. And maybe I might even be able to live with this mass being here. You know, for what it's worth, I hope that's the case. The other things I want to talk about that you saw in my intro was the marijuana. Okay. You know, a lot of people had told me about RSO and Rick Simpson Oil and that type of thing, and I've studied a lot about it. You know, I've looked up everything I possibly could about it. And it turns out that the CBDs in marijuana, there's not just, you know, some people think that CBD is the only thing that's in it that is, you know, medically proven to help, you know, with medical issues. Well, it's not, because there are several different types of CBD, CBAs, CBRAs, CBRNs. There's a bunch of different types. And what's unique about RSOs, or Rick Simpson Oil, is that it contains all of them. Okay? It has every type of CB in it, and they all work synergistically to you know, kill whatever is the issue with your body, whether it's cancer or you know, rheumatism, arthritis, Parkinson's disease, you know, just a number of different, you know, afflictions that we have. It actually helps a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I was watching what's his name? The Fox guy that, what's his name? Anyway, he, the one that played in Back to the Future, anyway, he's got Parkinson's disease, and apparently he's been using RSO, and RSO oil is actually what's helped him be able to come back to making movies, sitcoms. And I didn't know that. You know, at one point, he could not even, you know, sit in one spot without, you know, moving around and that type of thing. And with the oil, it's got him to the point where he can actually sit and have a conversation with you without, you know, moving from one side of the room to the other side of the room, basically, because that's how he said he felt. His head would move back and forth. So there's a lot to be said about it. And I showed you my crop for this year. This is a second crop. My first crop was last year, and it didn't really come out that well. This year I decided to grow outdoors, and it is an amazing crop. So I'm going to be using that basically for my first, oil mix, which is going to come up probably at the end of this month, the beginning of next month. But I will keep you in tune to show you how that's going, because I'm sure you're going to want to know how that's going, but also how it's going to affect me as an individual with cancer, and the healing properties that it's going to have, which I'm really, really excited about. I mean, I can't really hold my emotion. But I really want to show you how that's going to go. But anyway, yeah, the crop is really, as you can see from the video, the crop is really excellent, and I'm hoping that it's going to produce at least 2 pounds per plant. Those 2 large plants, I believe, are going to do at least 1 pound to 2 pounds each. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing I wanted to tell you is a complication of your tube, your feeding tube in your stomach. My feeding tube had a problem one day and it leaked, okay? And the cap that actually goes over it, where you open it, to bolus feed yourself, it started to leak. And because of that, it would make my clothes smell terrible, my bed, my sheets, just anything that I touched, basically, because it leaked through my clothes. So basically, it's your stomach fluid leaking on your clothes and your bedding and just whatever comes in contact with your clothes. So I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to the doctor and have this thing pulled out and, put another one in, or I got to think of something? So somebody suggested that I take a baggie and cut the end of the bag and bring the bag up over the tube, a Ziploc bag, by the way, and bring it up over the tube. I'm pretty sure you can see. Bring it up over the tube, tape it in place, and then use that as a covering for it. So if it does leak, it leaks inside the bag, and it doesn't create a problem. Now, I could go to the doctor and just have them take this out and put a new one in, but man, I swear to God, all those doctor visits, and especially for something like this, I don't really want to go and do that. So I wanted to think of something that I could do that would help me, for now. So that has helped, and I want to thank the person that gave me the shout out on that. That was pretty awesome. What's funny is I don't have a lot of followers, but man, the people that are following me know their business. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And if anybody else out there is going through the same thing, it works. I just want to tell you it works. My clothes don't smell, my sheets don't smell, everything's cool. So with that, I want to close this video because it's gone on for almost 20 minutes. And I'll talk to you next time. Next time we're going to go into not the complications, but the ongoing processes of healing. And that should be pretty interesting, because we're going to talk about just the day-to-day living with cancer, with squamous cell carcinoma. So I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.